Today to speak to everybody on behalf of the family and to celebrate the 91st year of Peter Grayson, surgeon, father, husband, grandfather, golfer supreme, antique collector, fabulous gardener, wine enthusiast, the list goes on. More about that later. Let me tell you that I first met Dad 62 years ago at Wellington Hospital, and it was love at first sight. But it wasn't to last very long, because I developed colic as an infant, and that tried my father and my mother's patience supremely. And it's that quality of my father's that I want to talk a little bit about right now, the quality of patience. Because my father was patient with Rick and I when, as very young boys, we pushed cushions through the railings of an ocean liner into the Atlantic Ocean and watched them as they sailed off into the sunset. Dad was patient with us when we jumped up and down on wash basins throughout the ship and broke them so that they came away from the wall. He was especially patient with us, especially patient when we loosened the petrol cap on his father-in-law's Woolsey automobile, beloved car, and we gathered stones from the driveway and we put them in the petrol tank, thus necessitating comprehensive repairs to aforementioned automobile. And Dad was especially patient with me when he determined that I really should sit for school certificate in mathematics. And I studied for a year under the tutelage of a wonderful spinster by the name of Cora Bartlett, and I received 42% of the exam. Now, my father has many wonderful attributes, and it would take a long time to talk to you about all of them, but I want to mention a few of them and what he has given to me and to all of us, especially my brothers and sisters. I think, first of all, he taught us strength of character. And you may not know that when Rick and I first went overseas, it was with Mum and Dad. Dad was going over for postgraduate studies in London, and he ran into an examiner who was determined to fail him at every opportunity. But he persevered, he persisted, and we learned from that you need to work hard and persevere in order to get somewhere in life. I think Dad is very well known for his generosity, in many ways, financially, and also a generous spirit. We know because we saw when he treated people, patients who could not afford to pay him, and instead they brought him sacks of shellfish and sides of beef. And which he accepted because he knew they could not pay. And of course, especially, we have seen this extraordinary caring side of him above and beyond his qualities as a wonderful surgeon in the way that he has taken care of Mardi during her illness. An extraordinary reversal of roles where she looked after him lovingly for so many years and he now returns the favor. And so he has taught us about what it means to love when you may not necessarily perceive a lot coming back at you. So my dad has many, many virtues, and you know them all. But there is one thing that he needs to be forgiven for. And let me tell you that my brother and I have been feeling brokenhearted and sore about this for many years, this irredeemable sin, or almost irredeemable. And in fact, we drew straws to see who would go to seminary, to College of St. John the Evangelist, in order to officially give him forgiveness. And I drew the shortest straw. Let me set the scene for you. It was Wadestown in 1957, and it was Christmas time. And my brother and I had fallen in love with Davy Crockett, and especially with the Davy Crockett coonskin hat. And that is what we wanted more than anything else for Christmas. And we thought that we had made that point very clear to Dad. Christmas Day dawned, and in our stockings, no coonskin hats, but instead woolly caps with pom-poms on them, one coloured red and the other one coloured green. And Dad tried to convince us that, in fact, this is the very same hat that Davy Crockett wore on the prairie. Now, we were very young at the time, but we knew enough to know that coonskin hats don't come in wool, and they certainly don't come in red and green. So, Dad, Rick and I do forgive you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit this day. But thank you for everything that you have given us as your sons and daughters, and thank you for everything that you have given the extended family. You are a patriarch supreme, and we hold you in great respect and great love. And we will always especially remember three things that you have taught us. Battle on. Art is long, life is short, experience is fallacious. And last but not least, keep breathing and stay warm to the touch. So, Dad, we salute you on your special day, and let us raise our glasses in a toast to Peter Grace. To you, Dad.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And please be seated. There is a postscript to this, and this is not to forget our wonderful youngest brother David, who was appropriately praised up one side and down the other last night. But you should not be forgotten on this day either, David. So you are a remarkable man, and we love you dearly for everything that you have brought to the family and that you bring to medicine and all the other aspects of your life. So, yes. We drank to you last night, so we will not drink again. But thank you, everybody, for putting up with me. And I know that there is a poem.
Yeah.
Is it Grace? Grace? Microphone. It's still on, honey, so you just need to hold it quite close to your lips. Well hidden.
Alright, so we've just written a small 90th birthday poem for Pop. Our earliest memories stretch back to Te Awi Awi Street, where Marty and Pop raised this impressive Grace and Fleet. The rumpus room was a special favourite for us girls, playing with Mum's old dolls, dressing them up, and brushing their curls. We loved wandering down to the lagoon with old stale bread, skipping across the bridge with Marty until all the ducks were fed. By turning left to the lagoon, the difference between left and right I learned to tell. My 5-year-old brain noted lagoon and left both started with L. Ever since I've known which way is left by picturing the Te Awi Awi driveway. Perhaps some of Pop's linguistic intelligence rubbed off on me during that stay. There was nothing like a whirlpool ride during a backyard swim, spinning round on our backs in Pop's wake with water splashing over the rim. We had not quite acquired our taste for spicy Indian curry, but Pop's Chicken Tonight creation certainly changed that in a hurry. In the kitchen we were used to Marty taking the lead. However, Pop showed us that sometimes Watties is all you need. We loved curling up on the couch next to Pop at night, listening to his captivating stories before turning out the light. We've always admired Pop for being such an athletic pro, and playing tennis on the Matapouri courts, he sure put on a good show. At our own sporting endeavours, he always provided a wise word. Watching from the sidelines, his encouraging support could always be heard. His expertise as a doctor has provided a helping hand, Mum frantically calling him on numerous trips to A&E unplanned. We followed Pop's legacy to Dunedin in the hopes of acquiring a degree, visiting Heriot Row and Otago Boys, whilst the medical school we are yet to see. I think we can all agree Pop has the most incredible brain. History, classics, law and science, anything is his domain. Such knowledge has provided for years of entertaining letter writing, often accompanied by some ice cream money, which was always very exciting. Pop's knowledge was also called for on numerous projects at school, reliving our family history and fortune lost by a gambling fool. It would be hard to ask for a better role model to admire, He has been the topic of our school speeches as to someone whom we aspire. Our discussions with Pop always leave us wanting to know more, especially on what is fair and reasonable, Pop's favourite question of the law. Always looking to the next family occasion and up for a good time. As you can see today, he is still in his prime. So here's to you, Pop, happy 90th birthday. To finish in true style, there's only one thing to say. Art is long, life is short, experience is fallacious.
Right of reply?
Oh, just before that, Bells has got to do something. You can't have a birthday without a birthday.
Oh.
You got wall space for it there? You have to take down the tray.
You whiskey drinks.
Want your glasses again, Dad?
Remember that one?
Yeah, that's down at medical school.
Jimmy was,
That's me there.
Jimmy just knocked these up there.
We all put extended, this was in the second year.
Right.
We were in the second year. Just got our stethoscope. Those round, that's lovely.
Pass that round.
Oh, thank you.
I just saw that.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's in the, I've got that.
Robbie, have you seen it?
Yeah.
Go around the other table.
Let's see, Dave.
Yeah, it's come out really well, Dad's going to hold it pretty close to you.
All right.
Testing,
And you
testing, testing.
Yeah, it's working.
Test. See, I can't hear you.
No, but it is. It's working there.
Testing, testing, testing. All right. Well, I'm rendered speechless.
Too short.
I've suddenly realised, of course, I'm a bloody old liar when it comes to things like
Only once.
David Crockett hats and things. Anyway, you know, every morning I get up and I say to myself, that lovely little sort of couplet down on the front hall that we've got on a ceramic plaque down there. Do not regret growing old. It is a privilege denied to many.
Yes, exactly.
So that's another one I think that you should add to my saying. Because, you know, when I look back, I've been very, very privileged to live to 90. I've had not one, but 4 birthday parties. And now we have this lovely session out here at Black Barn, and there's nothing that could be better for me. As, you know, as the paterfamilias of the family, to see all the family around me.
Keep on
The sun is shining, and what better life could you have? Now, I'm a bit slow in thinking these days. I want to thank Tim for all his very kind remarks, and I want to thank Grace for that lovely poem.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that framed so that I can hang it above my bed. So that I can see it every morning. And, anyway, I've got a good story here for you. Now, you know, the world is moving very fast. And the other day I got an email from a very old friend of mine, David Evans. Now, some of you would have known David. I met him when I went to England in the 1950s, and he and I were orthopaedic trainees at the Royal National Orthopaedic in London. And we had a bond which lasted for over 50 years. We used to meet up at meetings and play golf together with Marty and his wife Bess. And I learned more on the golf course than I ever learned at the meeting. He would give me the real sort of things that were going on behind the scenes. Because you go to these meetings and a lot of people are trying to make their name and all that. At any rate, delightful guy. Unfortunately, he died about 2 years ago. And suddenly, out of the blue, I had an email from David Evans. And if you don't believe me, I've got the actual email here. Now, I'll put my glasses on and I can read it.
On the grave.
Now, listen carefully. This is entitled A Yorkshire Love Story. An elderly man lay dying in his bed while suffering the agonies of impending death. He suddenly smelled the aroma of his favourite scones wafting up the stairs. He gathered his remaining strength and lifted himself from the bed. Leaning on the wall, he slowly made his way out of the bedroom, and with even greater effort, gripping the railing with both hands, he crawled downstairs. Was it heaven? Or was it one final act of love from his devoted Yorkshire wife of 60 years, seeing to it that he left this world a happy man? Mustering one great final effort, he threw himself towards the table, landing on his knees in rumpled posture. His aged and withered hand trembled towards a scone at the edge of the table, when it was suddenly smacked by his wife with a wooden spoon. "Bugger off," she said. "There for the funeral." I hope that's not the shape of things to come. Anyway, I see there's no scones on the menu. So bon appetit, everybody, and thank you so much for coming.
Oh, well done.
It can be arranged.